Welcome and thank you for joining us on The Kick. My name is Kyle Eason. I'm here with Denver entrepreneur and founder Tom Hoch Jr., founder of Milehighhouse and co-founder of FaderPro. Tom, thanks for joining us today. We're looking forward to this discussion. I've known Tom now for quite some time, and we're really excited to have him here with us on The Kick. It's a real privilege for me. Every month I get to sit down with some of the best in the business, and I'm really feel really honored to work with Tom, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can share with us today.
Thanks for having me.
So Tom, maybe you could start out by telling us a little bit about your background and your training and how you got to where you are today.
Well, my background training was as a kid working with my dad. My dad, Tom Hoch Sr., was a local video producer. Started off as a news shooter at KOA back in the late 60s and early 70s, and then left that to go be a freelancer in 1972, which there wasn't too much happening in Aurora in 1972, but he made it work and was able to be at the beginning of cable television. Had a really successful business doing a lot of crewing for cable networks and a lot of stuff with ESPN and MTV and networks like that. And I was really lucky to just be on the periphery just as a kid, lugging gear and pulling cable and eventually running camera and editing and doing all the elements of production. So I did that, went to school at Metro State downtown, had a program for corporate communications, technical communications, which I graduated with in '92. And I've been really lucky to be working in the trade from a really young age on all facets of production and getting to the point that we are now. It's just organically built itself up to this point, and now we're just doing everything we can to make high quality, good content. So
tell us a little bit about Milehighhouse and the history there, because I know it's a little bit unique.
Yeah, Milehighhouse originally started as a record label, music collective with a bunch of my friends here in town that were music producers, not necessarily DJs, but had really good music. And I DJ just for fun on the side of my video projects, and I would go through records and ask my friends, why aren't you doing this? Why isn't this working for you guys? And we started sending DAT tapes to record labels and funny t-shirts, and started a little collective of Colorado artists. And sure enough, it got some momentum and worked. We got a couple of our guys. Brian Cavender's Seafoam was the first one with a record label out of Chicago called Guidance. He had a multi-record deal with them, and when that happened, it was kind of a big thing for us because it was an unknown territory here. Colorado in the mid-late 90s was not known as a hotbed for electronic music at all, and so we started promoting talent really on the producer side, and started organizing events and doing nightclub things, and started doing corporate events and restaurant gigs. We were one of the first groups to start DJing in restaurants and bars in the late 90s and early 2000s, and really helped pay the bills and bring people into town and started gig swapping with folks. So the music thing was always this side project to the video piece, and it was very difficult to make any real money. I mean, you could do it, but it was really rough. So I was doing my video work, and that was basically paying for the gigs. And we would put it all in the big pot, and Milehighhouse built a pretty good name for itself. Got a lot of Best of Denver Westward awards and local accolades, and just, we just had a really good time. Well, at that end road of the Milehighhouse side, we were really looking at how can we start distributing our content beyond traditional vinyl records, because we're having a really hard time getting record deals or distribution for our own label. So we were looking at, this was the very beginning when Napster was like 1999, I think. Napster came online and started just stealing music, and we're like, man, I wish we could just give ours away, because we want the promotional tool. We know we're not going to sell 1 million copies of this, but if there's a way we could just give it away. So we started investigating how can we not just stream MP3s, but let people download them from us. Well, at that same time, our friends at Factory Design Labs were starting Beatport. This was 2002, 2003. And they talked to me about coming in to help sell the concept of digital distribution. And I got it because our label needed it. But like all new companies, it was just this idea. And the next thing you know, the rest is kind of history. Beatport blew up. It was 2003 to late 2009. I was there, and it was a great ride. I totally got out of TV. Milehighhouse was kind of sitting there running digital distribution for some releases, but we weren't really taking it that seriously because of the Beatport work. And when Beatport ended, I got back to video and relaunched Milehighhouse as a video company in 2014, and now we're back here doing video stuff. So,
Yeah. Yeah, that is a great story. I know now you're into something new that's really, really very exciting. I think somewhat cutting edge, and in a way, it's your career coming full circle. So maybe you could tell us a bit about some of your latest adventures.
Yeah, so FaderPro is the latest adventure for sure. Our partners Vincent DiPasquale, Stephen Lee had started FaderPro back in 2009, I think. Vince was on the road with Apple Computer doing live lectures. He's a very accomplished remixer, engineer, music producer, and was going on the road for music conferences, doing these trade shows and things like that. And at the end of every lecture, he was doing these Logic master classes to conferences. There would be a line of people, man, if I could just sit in the studio with you for a day and I'd pay you $1,000 or whatever just to get that experience, to see what you're doing. So they brought that to a DVD called The Art of the Remix, and this was before the ease of content distribution that's there now. So they did that, was pretty successful, basically broke even, but proved the concept. And Vince moved to Denver. I met him right at the impasse of Beatport and Milehighhouse, and they had content that needed to be finished. So we hit it off, and I finished with a couple guys, finished a couple of the classes, the music theory class, and started presenting and pushing this to try to raise investment, because we knew it was a good opportunity. But this is 2009, 2010, the economy just tanked, nobody was investing in anything. So it was really tough. It was this great side project idea, and we just kept pushing on it and presented to a few different people, and eventually kind of came around full circle literally about a year ago to the day. We had a conversation with some friends in Toronto who started a VC fund, and kind of got the iron under us, and we were able to put together a really awesome team of old friends and colleagues to accomplish all this on a shoestring. And because of our infrastructure and our tools and our experience, we were able to make it happen and raise a seed investment. And that's where we are right now with it. We're going to launch it in October, going to Amsterdam for ADE, to announce it with a soft launch, not necessarily a big thunderclap, but really just push this new music content education online, really similarly to how Craftsy's doing with arts and crafts and a lot of other e-learning. We just feel that we're right in the right timing and space for that. So
a launch in Amsterdam in October. Are there going to be any events or special broadcasts that people can find online or follow you on social media or anything like that?
That stuff is coming. I think by the time that this Kick episode goes up, we will have some things for lower thirds that we'll be able to slide here for FaderPro.com and things to follow. We're literally building it. We've been funded for not even 2 months. And we are working really diligently on figuring out the best ways to engage a community of people to figure out how to participate and get involved with that. So definitely.
There's a big worldwide audience there, and I think it's going to be really exciting to see what happens both in October and following in terms of how fast FaderPro goes, and knock on wood, it'll all go well.
Yeah.
You never know.
Knock on wood. So, it's going to go well, or it's not.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe by the time this interview, it's just a huge failure.
I
told you guys.
I knew it.
So. I knew it. I knew it wasn't going to work.
There is a bit of anxiety here. You can see on camera, folks. No, I think it's really exciting, and it's really interesting to see how it's all coming together. And we've had some actually very prominent EDM artists here in the studios and just mixing it up, and that's pretty exciting.
That's
it's been a lot
the biggest
of fun.
piece. I mean, we always knew that, man, if you could get the big names in music to reverse engineer, ride shotgun, do what Vince does. Vince isn't a household name, but he's got 18 gold and platinum records, and he's very accomplished. There's a lot of people like him that are those true masters of their craft, but these, I don't want to say aging, but the older superstar producer guys that are the legendary dudes we grew up with, they're very accessible, and they want that next outlet for content. It's beyond the catalog of songs they're producing that's now all streaming. It's very difficult to really figure out how to generate money in a traditional selling records model, but with ours, it's a little higher price point, it's educational content, it's a longer class. And for these guys to leave a legacy beyond their catalog is really important, and it's really resonating with a lot of these people that we're talking to. And we have a list. I don't even know how we're going to be able to produce all the content that's there, but it's really encouraging. That's the most exciting piece for for us is that we're getting immediate response and participation without even having the site up. Just based off of our pedigree and what we've done with other companies and with the support of so many people. It's by no means just us. I mean, the legacy that Beatport gave and the team and the tools of people that were there that we all met through those old days through factory and beyond here in Denver is the coolest part for us. Launching the Colorado entity that could be the next big thing it feels really good to be driving that.
Yeah, several times today I've just thought about how beautiful it is right now. Dry air, sunshine, we're at the tail end of September and it's probably 80 degrees and just a beautiful day. And I think that's one of the reasons why Vince and the rest of your team wanted to stay here in Colorado. It's just a beautiful place to be, and now it's really taking off. As a city, we're gaining in population so fast. Do you see that favoring FaderPro in some way?
I'm excited. I mean, I've been downtown since 1988, grew up here, and I've been championing it forever. I mean, our company's Milehighhouse. So I've been a huge advocate of come to Denver. This is not this Arctic wasteland that a lot of people think, and the word has definitely got out, as you can attest to that in your house hunt recently. It's great. I mean, I think it's the perfect timing for people to have opportunities to work, to expand. Denver is now one of the more internationally known cities for electronic music and other music in general. Just the creative space, the collaborative space. I mean, it's the perfect timing across the board to at least have that consistency and make it work. I mean, is it going to be Google? I mean, we're not really aiming it for that, but it's definitely going to be something consistent that's going to be worthwhile, that will have quality, compelling content that we can build in our own direction. So that's the best part.
You know, one of the things we try to do on our show every month is basically talk to folks who have a special idea, a big idea that has a certain kind of energy that kind of takes off and is very special. You've had a long career. Looking back, what do you think is unique and special about maybe your approach to music, to video? What is it that you do that is really compelling for people?
That's a good question. I mean, I guess just the persistence of it. I mean, I've never aimed at movies. I've never aimed at long formats. I've always aimed on that sales, marketing, PR, education, training combo sort of deliverable, and it's worked well. And now with the amount of content that's out, how quickly it is to be able to create it and put something up, for us to really focus on the creative components and the high quality components of that content is what our strategy is, and I think what gives us a different edge over others is we can do things quickly, but we try to take that time to make them a little bit more compelling and more creative rather than just cranking it out for the sake of filling up your YouTube channel or whatever channel. So for us is really being open to any ideas with our team, the openness of how we're aggregating the talent and pool that we're working with. And it's fun because they're all young guys who really get this and really know the space, and some of them are way smarter than me in so many aspects of what it takes to make these things happen, and we encourage it. You know, the old days of I'm the boss and this is how we do it and follow this template is gone. So we're just letting it run, and we're letting our users, our customers, and our clients dictate what that is with our collaborative teams. And that's the thing I think that we do differently than some other shops here. So.
Yeah, I have to add, I think your reputation precedes you in a lot of ways throughout the community. You've been around for so long, and before that, your father doing similar work. But I think it's safe to say that you have a reputation that does bring people together and kind of exemplifies that collaborative spirit. Yeah,
I think so too. I mean, I like to share it. You know, it drives my wife crazy, but you know, it's there's a lot to work with and a lot to go for, and there's opportunity that I can't harness on my own. So I definitely want to share that and encourage anybody to hit us up and contact us for opportunities or ideas or anything related to what we're doing. It's all available on our sites. You can see who we are. We're here downtown at Battery 621. We're very approachable and open people to work with. FaderPro's office here, our office is here, and we encourage all that from anybody that's watching this. So.
And it's milehighhouse.com.
That's right. Great.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us. This episode of The Kick. I'm Kyle Eason. This is Tom Hoch Jr. And have a great week, everyone. Thank you so much.